Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Samina Pasha to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Samina Pasha's words. Today we'll discuss developments that happened after a few specific sittings. PTI held a press conference today. The PMLN is also making strong moves, considering themselves more powerful, and is launching an aggressive attack on the KP government, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, and their opposition members. A harsh approach is being taken against them as well. In fact, today it was reported that even the opposition leader in the Punjab Assembly had the doors of the Assembly shut in their face. Field Marshal Sahib also delivered a speech today at the Passing Out Parade, which has come under heavy discussion. In addition, today we will discuss how PTI has come under pressure, especially the KP government, after the Sanya incident. They have been facing criticism from both their own people and their opponents. What steps have been taken since then? The Election Commission issued a decision today, and I will share that with you. Moreover, the Ministry of Interior has also shared some updates through sources, which we will discuss too. Before we get into all these important news, I want to start with some sad news that broke my heart today. There was a severe attack by militants in Waziristan once again. It was a cowardly attack, and the suicide bomber rammed an explosive-laden vehicle into a military convoy. 13 soldiers were martyred in this attack, and it's really heartbreaking. May Allah place the souls of these martyrs in His mercy. Furthermore, we received tragic news from Job too, where 2 families were caught in a flood. They were in a car, and unfortunately the car and the 2 families were swept away by the floodwaters. Reports suggest 6 people lost their lives, with several others injured. Such news is distressing, just like the situation in Swat. Criticism is being leveled at that incident too. In response, an emergency meeting was held and an investigation was called. As a result, the DPO of Swat was removed from his position. On a related note, Ali Amin Gandapur has announced a compensation of rupees 1 lakh for the families affected by the floods. He has also ordered some measures to improve safety. The government has been instructed to check and regulate any illegal or unpermitted hotels built near the riverbanks or within the river itself, which are considered dangerous. These measures are being taken, which is good. At least, we hope it will help prevent such accidents in the future. Every year, millions of tourists visit these areas, especially during the summer season. The beauty of the place and the pleasant weather attract many people. However, these accidents, when people feel they could have been prevented, leave a lasting sense of sadness. The investigations into why the necessary machinery or helicopters weren't available are underway. This whole situation has caused PTI's government in KP to be on the back foot. There's tremendous pressure on them, and the opposition has found an opportunity to criticize them. It felt almost like they were taking advantage of the situation to score political points, trying to get attention and create a spectacle out of it. What was shocking to me was that one after another, press conferences were being held, and there were demands for the resignation of the chief minister. It was being said that the government should be ousted. I was especially taken aback when people, whether from PTI or other parties, were saying that the chief minister should resign. But then a whole group of people started calling for the complete removal of PTI from power in the province. Some of these politicians, with their self-interest, were openly saying that it was time for the government to be changed. I was surprised by how boldly and shamelessly they made these demands. They didn't even consider the mandate given by the public in the elections, where PTI won 92 seats and almost 3/4 of the votes in the province. It was as if they were saying the people are foolish for electing this government. They had no regard for the people's choice, and this is the sad reality. Some of these politicians now feel entitled to decide who should govern the province, completely ignoring the fact that a democratically elected government has come into power. They are treating the people's mandate like a joke. This disregard for public trust is becoming a new normal in our country. What's even more appalling is how the media behaves in these circumstances. Pakistani media has often been accused of bias. When it comes to criticizing the PTI government, they leave no stone unturned. But when it comes to criticizing the federal or Punjab governments, there's a different standard. For example, the tragic deaths of 20 children at the DHQ hospital in Pakistan due to the lack of medical facilities was hardly covered by the media. It's clear that the media's coverage is influenced by advertisements and money. When it comes to PTI or the KP government, the media searches for every possible scandal. But when it comes to the government of Punjab, they act as if nothing is wrong. For instance, the Punjab health card, which was available to the poor, is now being discontinued from June 30th. No one is talking about this. Why is the media silent? They should raise questions about this. Similarly, gas prices have increased by 50%, but the media is not giving this any attention. There's a huge sugar scandal where billions of rupees are being made. The prices of sugar are rising, and yet the media is silent on these issues. Instead, they keep focusing on criticizing PTI, its internal problems, and the scandals related to PTI. This selective coverage is a clear example of the media's double standards. If you claim to be an unbiased media outlet, you should criticize all governments equally. But unfortunately, in Pakistan, the media's priorities are often determined by their financial interests rather than the public's welfare. This is the sad reality we are facing today. Why doesn't the media talk about this? During the PTI government, it was always a huge deal, every little thing. The media used to cover the price of sugar, LNG imports and exports extensively. Every night you would see a whole thesis running on these issues, but today, when we have scandals worth billions, like the sugar scam and others, no one seems to have a problem with it. These things essentially show that money is being thrown around and the media and lawyers are involved in the same act, where they've been filled with so much money that they can't speak out anymore. Today, I was watching a clip of Benazir Shah Sahab's speech, where he gave a very strong, bold analysis. He discussed the direction in which the People's Party and the PMLN are leading the country's democracy. He said they are completely distorting the constitution, and when we say there should be opposition, there should be discussion on this, people say the time hasn't come yet. But when will this time come? What time are we waiting for? Should we wait for the day when the constitution is completely altered? Why is no one talking about what has happened to the democracy? After the February 9th elections, the decision about the reserved seats is an open robbery. So now even those who were previously seen as critics of PTI are raising their hands in surrender. They've now realized that this government is taking democracy in the wrong direction. Back in the day, when they criticized, it was for a valid reason, but today I believe the situation is even worse than before. I was also watching a column by Ansar Abbasi Sahib from that time where he said, "The neck of the system has been strangled, this happened, that happened. We didn't say the PTI government was good, we criticized it as much as the situation warranted. But now, if things are even worse, we are criticizing it with more intensity." However, today Ansar Abbasi Sahib seems to see rivers of milk and honey flowing, and many journalists and commentators are happy, claiming the country is progressing. But some of the same journalists who criticized in the past are still criticizing today. Even the people in the ruling parties are now starting to acknowledge what's coming next. I also watched a viral clip of Najam Sethi Sahib, where he mentioned the possibility of a hybrid system. He suggested that in the future, the establishment might play a formal role in the constitutional framework. Currently, people say it's unconstitutional for the establishment to get involved in political and administrative matters. They want to remove the role of the establishment. But the parliament, as it stands, is filled with rubber stamps, and they will just slap a stamp on whatever is said. So, in the end, it's clear that the government is only doing what it's told. They are carrying out the will of those in power, and there is no genuine mandate. Those who previously filled out Form 47 will just do it again. There's no accountability because they are just following orders and no one questions their role in making laws. They are aware of their lack of genuine mandate, but the situation continues. Now even PTI's former allies are questioning the situation and asking where it's heading. The fear we had when we raised our voices has turned into reality. We were fired, lost jobs and went through hardships, but we saw the situation moving in this direction. Now the situation has worsened, and those who once doubted our warnings are now saying things have gone even further than we thought. So where will this situation end? There's no sign of change anytime soon. Even Field Marshal Sahab spoke today, quoting an ayah from the Quran about the plan of Allah and the plan of humans. As we know, Allah's plan is always better. Even Imran Khan Sahib used to quote this verse. Now people are saying that no matter how much you plan, Allah can change it in the blink of an eye, and his plan is beyond your understanding. The situation in the country, based on Pakistan's past history, is such that every dictator manages to stay for almost 10 years. So, brace yourselves. I don't see any immediate change in the situation. On a lighter note, before I go, let me tell you a joke that the Election Commission of Pakistan has shared with the nation today. The Election Commission issued a statement where they said, "We're being accused of going against the Constitution and laws, that we are acting arbitrarily. But we are completely impartial and have only made decisions based on the intentions of the Constitution and the rulings of the Supreme Court. We reject all propaganda against us. We are an institution that follows the law and Constitution strictly." To paraphrase their statement, "We are saints, and no institution in the world can be as impartial as us. Foreign countries should come to us for training on how elections are conducted and how seats are assigned, how one person becomes number one and another becomes number 8. We are the experts and no one can surpass us." The Election Commission of Pakistan claims to have acted perfectly, though the truth is that every decision they've made has been against PTI. I'm not saying this. The Supreme Court's 8 judges are saying it. The judge who gave the controversial BAT decision himself acknowledged that the ruling was made arbitrarily, outside of the law. This whole situation looks like a deep conspiracy. If the country were free, the Election Commission members would have been called in for questioning. But this is the reality we're facing. Their accountability will be as effective as that of Bangladesh's Chief Election Commissioner, whose actions led to his downfall. That wraps up our translation of Samina Pasha's video. I hope this English version helped you understand her message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.